Hello everyone, happy Navratri once again. So we are at day 4 of our design Sangam. So today's session got a little late because of all the Navratri traffic that we had on the roads. So as the tradition says, let's wait for a few more people to join and then we will start. Okay, so the little fact that I learned today about day 4 of Navratri is that on day 4 of Navratri, devotees worship Ma Kushmanda, whose aura symbolizes the ability to radiate positivity, and her blessings are sought for happiness, health, and prosperity. Also, the day 4 of Navratri is associated with royal blue color. So yeah, that was it for day 4 fact of our Navratri Sangam. And for day 4 we have Karan Daisaria. I'm extremely excited to get him back on board with us. He's the design studio head at Daisaria Associates. And today's topic for discussion is design to make money. And we all are learning that how can architects and designers actually transform their financial position. So very interesting topic and a very interesting discussion coming up. So yes. Hi sir, happy Navratri. How are you?
Happy Navratri. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So your video is a little.
So thank you.
Do you want to just check your Wi-Fi? Your video is a little hazy.
Mine.
Yeah, now I think it's better.
Is it
Yeah,
now
I think so.
fine?
So I think I'm coming live after a really long time.
That's nice. So we have a lot to talk about then today.
Of course.
And I think it's almost an year or so that you have been live with us. So long time that we see you on our platform as well.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So before we start, I want to know how are you celebrating Navratri? What is special that you doing this Navratri?
So I think Navratri in general is the pious festival of bringing a lot of luck and prosperity and harmony in your lives. So I think we are celebrating with some good projects for now in the studio and fun with Pandya nights at night. Yeah.
That's nice. And what is your favorite prospect about Navratri?
What is my favorite?
What is your favorite thing about Navratri?
So you get to play Garba. I'm a Gujarati, so I love to play Garba. My favorite part. But other than that, I think it's a very religiously oriented festival, and you see the city completely change, just like how we see Mumbai change in Ganesh Chaturthi. We see Mumbai change in Navratri. So with a lot of vibrance and a lot of warmth. That's my favorite part.
Okay, that's nice to know. So yeah, and I'm also very excited for today's topic. There's a lot to learn and make notes of. So my first question to you is, what innovative approach can architects take to diversify their income streams within the field of architecture?
So, see, I'll get this very straight, okay? I want to tell everyone who's listening today that we, from our architecture college time, from our curriculum, we are always told that, you know, the architect or the designer is supposed to design, is supposed to be a creative person and is supposed to bring a vision to reality. Now, all of that is true. It's not that it is false. However, we live in a a cruel competitive world. Architects already are very underpaid. And I'm not just saying about employees. We ourselves, the ones that who have firms, they're not the most amazingly paid. So what you need to understand about the scope of an architect is more of a facilitator, okay, a service provider. So in the service industry, what is very important is if you don't make your architecture into a business model. If that does not happen, then you will always sort of remain a designer, which is fine. I mean, if you want to grow financially, if you want to grow as and you want to sort of make that into your main source of income, then you have to make sure that anything that you design, anything that you are sort of creative about, you have to make that sort of a part of your business model. Okay, so it's very important to make design into a business model, and unfortunately there is no curriculum or there is no platform where this is openly spoken about, and which is very sad, because that's exactly the reason why architects are facing the issues that they are facing today, or rather any designer, interior designer, architect that they are facing today. So coming to your question of I think you asked me about innovative strategies, I believe.
Yes.
So can you just repeat your question, please?
The innovative approaches that we can come across.
I think the most important thing is to diversify. We in general are taught to be in a certain way. We have to conduct our office in a certain way. But I think these two approaches that I have seen humongously succeed, and I think there are one or two good designers hearing me, and probably they will accept that one of them is the design and build model. Now, a lot of architects have, diverged into interiors, or they sort of excel in, villa planning and, designing holiday homes, etc. So then why not take a step forward and build it? Okay. So not just about, of course, not villas at first, but if you start the design and build model in interiors, honestly, it's going to be a much better business prospect, because then you have your in-house contractors, you have your in-house laborers, etc. Of course, they're not on payroll; they'll always be on contract in terms of the project that comes in. But that gives you a leverage in terms of the profit that you can make from a project. So that is the first thing that I would recommend, the design and build model for architects who do interior projects. That is something that they should really go in, because, I mean, how much are you going to charge for a 2,000 or 3,000 square feet residential flat? You're going to get 5 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, let's talk figures. So, but then that same project is probably worth a 1.5 crore when you do a design and build. But from that 1.5 crore, because of your managerial services, etc., you can easily save about 20 lakhs as your services for yourself. So that's directly bringing the margin twice. So the design and build model really works wonders, according to me, by my personal experience. The second one that works, because we are, because we talk about design, we don't talk about money, which is, again, because we're not taught that. Another thing that I think has a lot of scope is to not just do the design of it, it actually also to do the design or the project management of it. So when you, what we do is we design and we give it to the client, or I'm talking whether in terms of architecture or in terms of interiors, we give it to the client, we give it to the homeowner, they, we coordinate with the contractor, etc., etc. Now, when you're coordinating, what is that? You're essentially managing the project for them, right? So then you take up the project management part within your scope, okay? Hire a site supervisor or a site engineer who will work on your, your wishes and your desires of getting your design executed, and get the project management scope as well in your scope of services. Now, when that happens, you don't get, number one, you don't rely on someone else to get your design executed, and it's a person who you are employing. However, the additional aspect to this is project management as a service becomes a much broader spectrum. You can do much more related to project management. You can, if it's an architecture project, you can of course incorporate services and structural design also within your scope. Now, why within your scope matters is because as soon as you put this within your scope, you will realize that, okay, actually the amount of effort you're taking to coordinate with other people, you're able to reduce your man hours by almost 60% by having those things done within your office or by someone you know. That saves your man hours. So I'll not say that it will increase your profit, but it will reduce the timeline of the project, which in turn will give you a higher return when you compare. I mean, say for example, a project which is worth of 10 lakhs is going to take you 10 months to execute. It's just 1 lakh a month, but you'll probably the same thing that you can execute it in 7 months. It's going to be 1.5 lakhs. So that is how you sort of calculate the sort of economics of a project. We as designers tend to just get so romantic about our work. I mean, I know that you are into landscape and you're going to be so particular that, oh no, this tree doesn't look good. That tree looks good. So I'm going to change that tree after even putting it there. Or maybe just a feature or something. The thing is, it's good to be romantic about your design, but we fail to be romantic about making that design into business.
Very, very well said. Like, I mean, our main focus is to, get the designs come out very beautiful. And we actually forget about that. Okay, is it actually giving us profit?
Exactly.
I mean, and I think young designers face this the most because we're very enthusiastic about what we have designed, and that is a very major drawback while it comes to money.
And no one talks about it openly, because you will be like, when you're in these family outings, and then you'll hear people who are your age talk about their packages of 20 lakhs and 30 lakhs, and you feel like, oh my God, what am I actually doing? But that what am I doing is the question you have to ask yourself, because unfortunately, since we have not learned how to make design into business, that's the part that sucks the most.
I mean, and I think that should be a part of our curriculum as well. I mean, architects should be taught
a lot about what all has to be a part of the curriculum, so I'm not going to say anything because I have a lot of colleges holding grudges against me, so I'm not going to say any of that. But I think this is something by experience. You have to do a lot of trial and error, and I think I'll take this up as and when we proceed with the other questions.
Okay. Okay, so the next one, can you share a success story or strategies where architects have significantly increased their earnings while maintaining
So I
practice?
will not be able to take names because I don't want to, demean someone or flatter someone. So, but I can tell you one thing. So a very renowned architect in Mumbai, he started recently in the last year, I think, he sort of realized his interest into furniture. Okay. So what he did is that anyway, for all his interior projects, he used to design the furniture himself. And more than the actual design of the entire space, the furniture was very appreciated by, his future clients or his prospective clients. So that's when he got an idea that, okay, what if I actually partner with another manufacturing agency or, a carpenter or a contractor who can make this furniture for me, and I turn that into my secondary or maybe primary business eventually. So what he started doing was that from his interest into interiors and interior spaces, he went into furniture making and product design. And today he has a very successful showroom. And, in spite of being an architect, I think that what he's done, because he's brought in his design kit up by making the furniture and designing it. Now, for example, when you design a furniture, the first time it will take you like maybe 2 hours, 5 hours, 1 day, 5 days, 10 days. That design can be modulated so many times. And I know that one furniture piece is going to be sold at say 40,000 or 50,000. If you sell 10 of those or 20 of those, that's going to be equal to one project. The one project you get. Yeah. So this, I think, has really, really sort of actually motivated me. I was taken aback positively that, your interest into design does not always end at design. It can always lead to something which you can go into the bit. Again, taking back to the first part of it, where I mentioned the design and build model. So this is pretty much that. So you just partner with an agency who can make it for you, okay, and then sell it. And that's, I think, that also is something. I mean, what do these artists do, right? So, and I say these artists in very respectable thing, because I think they've done amazing that they've created, I mean, yeah, it's a different thing that their hobby and their passion has sort of become a business, because you see these paintings being sold for 2 lakhs and 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs, and we both know clients who take such paintings, right? We know clients who take those, etc.
Yeah.
So why not for furniture, or why not for anything that you can build and give that as a product? I know an architect who has also gone into just modular kitchens. So because of his interest into interior design of residential flats, he went into just modular kitchen products, and he's created a business out of it. He has a company established in 3 cities. So that is also something to look up to, because he's not let go of the design, but he's created a business out of it. Another one I know that, so there's this designer who works majorly with corporate offices. So he realized that, okay, if my main clientele is corporate offices, what do they need the most? They need the desk and the working desk, the workstation. So he's created a business out of it. Why? Because he's created 30 prototypes of workstations. He has a sister company. He builds those 30 workstations, and for his projects, of course, he's using them. So he's already benefiting on that front. And secondly, even other clients or other architects, other designers who want to procure something from him, it's always a secondary source of income. Actually, I think honestly, it'll eventually not become the secondary, it'll become the primary. And then you can keep doing design for passion.
Exactly. I mean, listening to all these stories, I've realized whenever we design something, like maybe it's a house, a building, anything, you cannot, derive a product out of it, and you have to do it. Everything is like it's new every time, new design, new drawings. But once you make a prototype or once you make a product, that mehnat can be actually repeated at the same time. You don't have to do it again and again and again. So labor work, that's cut out.
You will feel much content about the mehnat that you put in, because the return far more.
Come up with product and continues. Exactly. So, and also I feel when it comes to the designer's fame or the designer's name, it's more when you make one particular prototype and sell it around the globe. So then okay, this chair, I mean, I've heard this chair is from that architect, or this painting is from that particular architect. So yeah, it is one of the very important prospects that we can look forward to. Building a product is and
products can vary in any way. Okay, it can be from like a handle to a light to a of course a kitchen, to furniture, to anything. I mean, of course, if you're an architect or a designer who's focusing on interior design, then these are the options. If you're an architect who does architecture, then there are so many more other iterations. There are doors, and there are door cams, and there is glass, and there is so much more in the building industry, which has very high returns.
And I think as architects and designers, we understand the problems that the client faces or the building faces, so we can come up with better products with the right solutions.
I think when you're going to see a contract, like, I mean, it's the same thing, right? With all due respect, if a contractor is going to do a design in the tier 2 and 3 cities, what we see versus what an architect or an interior designer would do is zameen asman ka fark hota hai. So that sensitivity that we bring into design can definitely be vouched on in terms of money also. When someone wants to spend money on quality, they will spend on you.
True. Day before yesterday, I was having a session on architectural entrepreneurship. So we were talking about the skills that an architect has, and the architect learns during the college. That time we actually, when we were discussing about it, we realized that we have multiple skills, and if we add the business prospect to it, we can, beat the world and beat all the professions that are there that are available. Because you've been learning everything,
and
not just business.
Whenever I personally get demotivated, a lot of architects generally tend to get demotivated because we're such a strenuous profession, and we don't really earn that much and all of that. So I always say this one thing to myself, that these 3 things are never going to go out of fashion: roti, kapda, makan. Okay, so when there is makan involved, till there is population, and till there are people who are living on this planet, you're never going to be out of work. Okay, I know people who have developed a very fantastic architectural practice in Satara. I know someone who's done a fabulous furniture studio in Noida. So the scope is always there. It's about that, that leap that you need to take.
Exactly. I mean, I suddenly realized that, okay, we are in a profession that will
It'll
always
always
continue.
I mean, see, humans are not going to stop reproducing. The population is going to always keep increasing. We are going to have needs of making residences, offices, schools, institutions, everything. The world is constantly going into rapid urbanization. So there's always work everywhere. I mean, I seem to be like the, very happy soul being where I am, but it's not because I just want to throw off positivity, but this is actually the reality. This is actually the reality.
True. I mean, during all these sessions that I take, I've started loving my profession. I used to hate it. I mean, after the 5-year course, क्यों करा किस लिए किया पता नहीं, but now I really love it. That okay, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot, and it is important. I mean, as youngsters, we don't understand. I'm seeing all my colleagues, I'm seeing all my friends cribbing about it, but it is a due course of time that will make us understand that yes, it is a good
guys,
profession.
what I'm going to do is like let whichever followers are here. I got some message from someone saying love from Nagaland. So let's if you type out your city on the comment section, if we pick any two of them, I'll give you two examples of successful architectural business models of those cities.
Of those cities, that's interesting.
So we get that.
Yeah.
Let's go on with your next question.
Yeah. Okay. So third is, in your experience, what are some effective ways for architects to market their services and attract higher paying clients?
So I want to get this very straight to everyone listening. The idea of marketing amongst architects and interior designers or designers is Instagram. That's not marketing. Okay, marketing means being out there. Okay, being out there, being available, being visible. That's very important. Visibility on social media is very different. Visibility in real life is very different. So this is something that I always recommend architects to do or designers to do is follow LinkedIn way more than Instagram. Okay, LinkedIn gives you work. Instagram gives you followers and some mindless scrolling. Although we're doing this on Instagram, but with all due respect, Instagram is good for people to see what you do, but not potentially get you that much clientele. At least it's not worked for me. Unless you have reached like 30,000 followers and 50,000 followers, and then you get a DM that okay, how much are you going to charge for a 3 BHK home? But it will end at that wo PP likhte na log isme price.
And you can order a cake or maybe a bag from Instagram, but you cannot order it.
Not possibly a project. So what I have realized is that being there on LinkedIn is of course one of the, on the online platforms, LinkedIn is good. The second one would be that please be a part of an association, an architectural or a designer association. I think there are a lot of these cities that have WhatsApp groups, etc. Be a part of that. Be known. Because it's sort of the time of collaboration. You can definitely get cross-referencing. There's a landscape designer like Bhawna is not going to do probably a residential high-rise tower, so she's going to tell me that okay, hey Karan, we have something like this happening in Jaipur. Are you interested? So collaborations do work. Also, I always target that you should meet at least one potential client every 15 days, even if it takes you to go somewhere in another city, in maybe within your city itself. Anyone, just meet a potential client and always go with a printed brochure or a portfolio. Do not show things on iPad. Go with a printed brochure. Show them the work. And if you don't have a portfolio, build it first. Okay, before you start approaching, build it. How can you build it? You can do any small thing, and we've spoken about this once before, that you can do any small thing, like a balcony design to a a room that you renovated, to a lobby that you designed, to anything, and build that into your portfolio so that people understand your design sense and the fact that you can deliver. Because people today just care about whether, okay, you're going to design it, but will you deliver the product that you're designing for me? So going with a portfolio, going out there is something which is very, very important.
Okay. But somewhere I face this, that your maybe your experience or maybe the previous work that you have done connects the dots of the type of client that you get.
Yeah.
So that becomes a task, especially for youngsters.
So what do you mean? Like, do you mean that if you've done residential, you only get residential work? Is that?
Yeah. If you've done certain scale of projects, you will be always getting those kind of projects.
So that's what. So that's so true, because once you build a portfolio, no, when you say that you've done 10 residences, or say you've done like 3 lobbies or 5 this thing, then you have to start approaching developers or contractors. Then you don't have to approach the end user. Then you say that, boss, this is what I've done, this is how much work I have done, this is what I do. That's the mistake people do, that they approach the end user always. Okay, the going to give you one flat, maybe one flat and his office, both. Okay, but when you meet a developer, when you meet a contractor or a project management consultant, they are going to have a much wider scope in their this thing. They may not give you work in the first shot, they may not give you work for 1 year also, but that's when being matters, that being known, at least they should know that, okay, Bhavna करके एक architect आए थे, मुझे उनका portfolio दिखाया, that person should remember you. So I always believe that you should approach not necessarily the end user, you should approach the facilitators of the residences or the offices or any around your city. I mean, for me, like for example, I have made a list of developers that I want to work with. So my target would always be that I meet at least one of them every 15 days, at least 15 days. So now whether that person is going to give me work or not does not matter. So you have to go with the thing that, okay, I'm just going, wo kehte na kya muh dikhai, that's it. That's it. You're just going to go and let them know that you exist. Just do that, and that's going to be far better than Instagram or LinkedIn combined, because then people know that you exist and that the kind of work that you do.
That's something always my father also says. Okay, just go and tell them that you are doing landscape. The work automatically comes down to you. So something that you learn with experience as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question, as now we're talking about that I'm doing specialization in landscape. So according to you, how important is specialization or a specific expertise in a particular niche in architecture is important?
Okay, so for business, whether it's important or not, it's very subjective.
Income potential. I mean, the topic for today is like to make money. So how important?
Like if you're doing a specialization, if you're doing masters, my God, this is my favorite topic. But we should talk in again. We'll probably make another session out of it. But if you're talking in relation to masters and specialization, and if you've done that, don't come to India. You should ideally, the respect for specialization in a certain genre, I feel, is way more abroad even today, because you're going to earn also much more if you're working as an employee in a reputed firm, in an international architectural practice or an MNC anywhere. If you're specializing over here, I don't think that it is that much of value. If you do a master's in something and you're doing that kind of work, see, I think specialization, no, for me, is not the education, is your practice. Like how you said that if you've done 10 residences, you're going to probably feel that, okay, I really am good at residential interiors. If you're going to do 10 lawns, you're going to feel that, okay, I'm good at landscape. So that is what I mean when I say that experience. The experience matters. It's not the specialization of your degree that matters. The specialization of your experience matters. So if you definitely, I think if there is a niche, then your competition reduces to just those people who are doing the kind of work that you're doing. But at the same time, it has worked for some people, it has not worked for some people, but it's a very subjective thing. So, I mean, I can say that you can be a jack of, all trades and a master of none. But it has worked for some people to be a master of just one or two and not know anything else about anything. But that does not actually imply that that's a successful architectural practice, because even a landscape designer needs to know how a building is made. Even an interior designer needs to know, or an architect who's doing interiors needs to know the logistics of the sun and the cross ventilation and anything for that matter, anything. So before I take your question, I think I'll just pick one or two cities. I saw one city named Bangalore. So Bangalore has one, I'll not take names, but I'll tell you one very interesting design model that I have heard of. And the person happens to be an acquaintance. So Bangalore is full of IT parks, okay, and there are these data centers. So what he's done is he's created this data center module where any IT company can come to him for the design of the data center, and he has to just give that same module, like, because it's a space module, okay, where all the data center, like all the servers and everything is placed. So he has made the the aluminium prototypes for how the server sizes should be fitted, how the shelves should be made, etc. And today he's using, like, maybe he's not the designer for some projects, but his modules are being used in those data centers. So I think it's so interesting to see that how you can tweak your architectural business model depending on what your city really requires. Unfortunately, I do not have examples for Udupi and a lot of other cities, and I hope that I soon hear something good about them.
I have a very interesting example about Delhi. So Delhi and all the NCR, usually people are doing all the landscape on the balconies and the terrace because they don't have space. So there's a company, what they do is, you have their website, you just write the area, and just like you select the vegetables for a sub, you can select, okay, I need a bar counter, I need a canopy, I need a water feature, and they give you the exact amount of budget that is there for you. And you can just select pictures that, okay, I need this bar counter, I need this water feature, and the terrace is ready for you in a month. So, I mean, I really love the concept as a landscape, as I'm specializing in landscapes. It was amazing. And it's done by an architect. So, yeah, there are a lot of new things
ideas
that are coming.
That actually, do wonders. As architects, so we are so busy driving our passion and all of that we forget the whole startup side of business. And unfortunately, and I'm telling you today that if that much time is invested in this startup model, I think people will do wonders in terms of, like, I'll see a lot of architects be good businessmen.
True, but I mean, but that is what we're taught now. Since first day, we are taught to focus on the design, focus on the
first who have just entered architecture. It's criminal to hear our chat today. To be too demotivated to continue for 4 years.
No, we had very motivating sessions. Like last 2 sessions were quite motivating.
We can sort of balance it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay. So the next question: are there any specific technological advancements or tools that architects can leverage to enhance their efficiency and profitability?
So profitability, again, like I'm saying, I think profitability is not always in terms of money, but it's in terms of the amount of man hours you spend doing a job. Okay, so of course, I mean, there is an entire entourage of conversations about AI and how AI is helping architecture, or probably taking the essence out of architecture and all of that. But I think one thing that you should remember is that technology is a tool. You should never take, the day you start considering technology as a disgrace to the industry is when you're going 20 years behind. Okay, so I mean, even today, I mean, how we get so affected when we get to hear that, first year maybe aaj bhi hum hand se drafting kar rahe hain, ye wo. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that Eventually, what happens in the second year? You start using AutoCAD. Third year, you start using SketchUp. Then you start using Rhino, Revit, etc. So that is the progression, right? So using technology as a tool, as a tool is going to be really, really important, because according to me, something like I mentioned before, something that can be done in 10 days, if you're doing it in 4 days, you're just increasing your productivity. So instead of taking one project, you'll probably be able to take 3. So that is how you, and one thing I want to tell about freelancers, especially, what they don't do is they don't understand how to value their projects, how much to charge. This is a very traditional question I have heard a lot of times. And I've heard people discussing this also, and the figures are horrendous. Like, for example, if so Bhavna, how many years experience are you? When did you pass out?
A year ago.
Since you're so fresh, so let's take an example who, say, 5 years pass out. Okay, in Mumbai, for a 5-year pass out architect, say the average salary is, take an example of 50,000 rupees. Okay, so if the average salary is 50,000 rupees, now you have to assume that you are employing yourself. Okay, so that means that per month 50,000 rupees I need to get in my hand. But because you're employing yourself and you're also the employer, you have to multiply that by 3 times. Why you have to multiply that by 3 times? Because number one, it's going to be your profit. 50,000 is your man hour, so you are paying yourself. Remaining 50,000, the last 50,000 is the expenses that you made, for whether you went for site visits, whether you went and bought some thing, like, you know, you bought a new laptop, you bought, so whatever, etc. accessories you need. So I always say 50,000, if you're saying, if that's your remuneration, you have to multiply it by 3. That is the amount of money you should be earning in a month. If that's not what you're earning, then rethink about freelancing and the way you're taking your architecture or interior design practice ahead. Now, how do you calculate that in terms of the total number of projects? Now, say, for example, a project is going to take 6 months, and that project, 6 months, you're going to earn 10 lakh rupees, or sorry, 5 months, and you're going to earn 10 lakh rupees. That means you're going to get 2 lakh rupees per month. Yeah. 2 lakh rupees per month. And now what is happening is that that same thing changes when that 5 months becomes 15 months. So when that 10 lakhs becomes, then eventually you will realize that you're earning only 75,000 rupees a month. So one project is not enough at a time, which is why you will then push yourself to create a network where you are able to get more work. Either do that or reduce the timeline in which you're finishing one project. Only then it is profitable. So you have to calculate your current salary in your city, multiply it by 3. That is the amount of money that you should earn. Even if you reach 2.5, I'm okay. But at least 2.5 you should reach, and then it is a satisfaction. And so, for example, if it's 50,000, let's say my benchmark is 1.25 lakhs. Okay. Now, how do I get 1.25 lakhs? For 1.25 lakhs in an entire year, okay, of 12 months, I need to make, say, which means I'll be, like, say, about 25 lakhs. Sorry, I'll be 18 lakhs, roughly. Say 18 lakhs, no, that'll not be 18. My math is so bad. Wow. It'll be 12, and that'll be 13, 14, 15 lakhs. Say 15 lakhs, I'm doing only 2 projects. Okay. And those 2 projects in that entire year have earned me 6 lakhs and 4 lakhs. Okay. So what did you do? You have got 10 lakh rupees in your pocket, but that is already lesser than the amount of salary you would have got if you would have been in a firm. So then that does not work like that. So you have to always make sure that you're having a multiplying factor where you're considering yourself as an employee, paying yourself, taking profit from it, and then calculate how many projects you need to grasp to actually make a profitable architectural service, if it's only architecture.
I mean, I'm too young to say this, but I would say, I mean, the practice that I'm seeing in my city, freelancers are actually, they're actually spoiling it. It is actually spoiling the architecture market. It's spoiling the quotes that we put as an individual or as a firm as well. And not just this, all the youngsters have stopped respecting the jobs that we get as architects. I mean, I see this. I see this here that none of the fresh graduates or young architects would actually worry about their jobs. That okay, यहाँ नहीं चल रही है तो कहीं और मिल जाएगी. So many firms. कुछ नहीं मिलेगा तो freelancing जो भी applications है उस
I'll
पे
tell you
काम
what the
डाल
issue is.
देंगे.
I was recently talking to an associate about this, and the issue is that social media has made us believe that mediocrity or staying in the staying in the same place for a long time is mediocrity, and mediocrity is being average. Okay, so everyone wants to do something of their own, and out of that wanting of doing something on their own and all, which is fabulous because all of us have done that, but that does not mean that you reduce your learning time, because honestly, even a 10 to 6 job can be very, very fruitful in the long run, because honestly, there are people and there are firms who value loyalty. Okay, and how do you think these innumerable architectural firms, how do you think they have got associates? It's not just like that. Okay, and honestly, having your own practice, being a freelancer, are headaches that maybe not everyone can take. So down
not everyone with all the fine qualities that you need as an.
Okay, I don't think it's anyone who's even into working in an architecture or interior design practice and doing a job, I think it's very respectable. Just respect your talent. Okay, you need to know what you deserve to be paid. That's all. If you're being paid decently, then you should always stick around.
I mean, I'm into a job just after I finished my architecture, and I every month I'm realizing that yes, this job is important. I mean, I'm getting new things to learn about the market, everything is new, because there's nothing that we got in the college.
And I always believe that in the first 3-4 years of your career, you should always practice in another architect's firm. You know why? Because you should always learn on someone else's shoulder. Make the mistake. And I'm saying this as an employer myself. So, I mean, whoever the freshers are, if they're going to go do something wrong, ultimately the client is going to hold me responsible, right? So you're actually on a safe spot. So learn, and imagine you're doing mistakes, you're learning, and you're being paid for it. Then what is better than that? So always you should. I mean, I think we overall disrespect people working in jobs which is not right.
I actually don't feel that this is this is correct. I mean, I feel that youngsters are not actually respecting the jobs. Jobs are respecting youngsters. People around us.
This is happening. Like you're talking like me and I'm talking like you. So the reverse is also true, which is what I'm saying. So jumping employees and all that is, of course, it's another topic altogether. But when I'm talking as a fresh architect or someone who's looking for a job, always remember job security is both ways. Okay, there are good firms and you're going to learn under their shelter. It's always going to be good for you. You can, make your own practice 3, 4, 5, 10 years later also, or you can decide to continue in the same practice or switch your job depending on your liking. But if you're continuing in the practice, don't you ever think that you're any lesser than someone who started their own practice. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know, but I really want to, scream out loud for the importance of job that is there.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Okay, next one. Can you provide insights into successful collaborations or partnerships that have helped architects boost their earnings?
So I think successful collaborations are going to be when you have two very different genres of work. Okay, like someone, say for example, someone is very good at licensing and someone is very good at design, and they come together. That's going to be a very good practice. Okay, there's a lot of reliance on each other. The other collaboration is when you collaborate intercity. Okay, so for example, say you're doing it in Jaipur and I'm doing it in Mumbai, or say you're doing it in Jaipur and I'm doing it in Udaipur, which are like twin sister cities, and we can share the work, and that does increase my collaborative power and my business power also, because then I have my association in 2 cities, okay, and my presence also in 2 cities. So if you really have a friend you trust, and or even going out looking for freelancers in other cities, is always going to be helpful if you create a business model together, because then you get to explore 2 cities at a time, and always take up people who are good at something you're not good at. say for example, if I'm really amazing at planning, I don't want someone else to be as amazing as planning. I probably want that person to be better at execution. Okay, so that I think is very important to sort of evaluate. But collaboration, two ways. One is intercity. Second is sort of understanding which genre of architecture you are better at, and finding someone else who's good at something you're not good at works very well.
You might have done a lot of collaborations, but sometimes, have you ever experienced that too many cooks spoil the broth?
More than two will spoil the broth.
Okay, I don't know. My experience is that sometimes 2 or 3 collaborators also spoil the broth.
I don't understand this. The architectural function fantastically with 10 associates. Like, I don't know how does it happen. So
because whenever, and especially when it comes to design, too many conflicts between, because it's very subjective to a person.
I have to I think I have to crop a lot of things that I want to say, so I'll probably not say it. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So the last question, if you could offer one quick tip for architects to increase their income without compromising with their profession, what would it be?
So I think this pretty much is a summary of the entire conversation that we had. So I'll put it up in 3 lines. First and foremost, the tip that I would want to give is hard work is not the only thing that is going to get you there. Okay, hard work is very important. I mean, of course, you're already better than creative designers who are lazy, are lower than average designers who are hardworking, according to me. Okay, now if you are hardworking, it also has a very, very important aspect to it, which is smart work, which is being there when you should be there. Okay, the only tip I'm going to give everyone here is if you're not out there, if people don't know what you do, then whatever you're going to do is going to be scaled down. Okay, you should never meet people with the intention that this person is going to give me work, but you should meet people, like 30 people should know you, 50 people should know you. Especially for introverts, this is very important. Unfortunately, a lot of architects turn out to be introverts, so it's very, very important that you should just be out there. You have to. The only thing that can promote your architectural practice, yourself, will be you. Like, there's nothing more than you that can promote you. So that is one part for practices, and for people who are working professionals. I can say that one thing for them is you should always have a sort of a sidekick, like in terms of you should always freelance interior projects. You should always, I mean, other than your job, of course, hopefully if they leave you on time and you reach home on time, then you should try to add that as a sort of into your personal portfolio, because it's going to give you a very different experience than what your job is going to give you. So that is something that I would definitely recommend. But overall, in terms of making money, because this was the topic about making money, I can tell you 2 things. One is collaboration is fantastic, but second, develop a business model from your architectural genre. So whether it is creating a new software, whether it is developing furniture, whether it is going into lighting design, anything for that matter, anything that involves a product that can be bought, whether it's a software, a hardware, a furniture, or anything, that's something that can do wonders. You can also collaborate with contractors and project managers to be their in-house designer, where any project and every project sort of comes to you because you have associated yourself with them. And then pretty much the most important thing would be that you work towards building your portfolio. And then someone just said it, networking, in simple, one word.
Networking and learning business. I mean, we really, architects need to brush up.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of architects who have done fabulous businesses. I mean, I think, no, I should not take names.
Yeah.
Guys, if there are any questions, we'll take it up. Or
yeah.
If there's anything that Bhavna you want me to?
We did miss few questions in the beginning, but yeah, if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat box.
We're talking about design to make money. So only questions, please. I think we did miss one question which I wanted to take up.
Yeah, I was also looking for some. So if you have, please.
So how do you? Yeah. So Bhavna, someone's asked that how do you trust collaborations? So collaborations can be trusted when you, of course, know a person personally, and otherwise, collaboration should be more with people who you have worked with previously, whether it's in the same firm or it is through a contractor or through a person of your reference.
Okay, I do a lot of collaborations, so I would say that collaborations should be done in a very at a very open platform, so that you don't leave any scope for the other person to cheat.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Any, so I think if there's nothing else, then we can wrap up.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, guys.
Oh,
Much.
okay.
Happy Navratri to everyone.
Happy Navratri, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavna.
Okay, so now we have one more question, but I'm sorry that he's left the session already. What if we do specialization in reputed colleges like SPA and CEPT, hierarchy art codes? So we have a very amazing and detailed video about this with Karan himself. It's there on our Instagram as well as YouTube, which has the tag of Mat Karo Masters. So you can go and check that out there. Anybody else who has the same issue or is having a lot of queries about masters, so you can go and check that video. The title of the video is Mat Karo Masters with Karan. Okay, thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow, day 5, another speaker, and a lot of interesting insights to learn. Bye-bye.